Dude, some people had to F with you so hard in order to learn they're not human. In order to learn that they're not human, they had to F with you so hard. There's a multi-generational curse of people whose great grandparents were like in such a rebellion to God. They just keep passing this stuff on generation after generation after generation, and everyone's wearing a human suit, appearing as if they're human, but the only way they're going to find out that they're not is through coming against you. Why do they hate you so much? We wear the same flesh. Why are you so against me? Why are you so against the truth? And there are people who live their lives just like steeped in hedonism, right? They just want to like eat, drink, and live. I just want to live my life. And they seem to have no regard for anything else that's going on behind the scenes. And I'm not knocking it. It's human. Is it human? Is it human? I'm not sure. Is it human or is it monster to believe this? I don't know. I want to say, oh, it's just like a human nature to just like want to disregard all of the evil shit that is happening under your nose. I want to say it's human, but a greater revelation is like maybe that's not human because I wouldn't do it. I didn't do it. Dude, I couldn't do it. As soon as I found out what the F a pedophile was, I was like, these mother effers were on my radar. Like, dude, they were on my radar. And I hadn't even heard of this before I was like 23. Like, yeah, I had little girls when I was a kid molesting me because obviously their parents were molesting them. I was never molested by an adult. I didn't know what pedophilia was. But in retrospect, I had little friends who were trying to grab my vagina as a young child. Where the hell were they getting this from? As an adult now, looking back, it's because obviously they were being abused. And you see, there's obviously like a sick nature within humanity that you're like, it's so human to just like disregard it. Is it human to disregard it? Or is it human to be like, no, I'm going to concern myself with this actually? And this is where consciousness has brought itself to. You'll find the evils in the world and you're like, no. I'm actually going to concern myself with what the hell these little girls were finding out in their predicament. You're like, what the hell created friend molesting children? What created this? That's a human thing. I think that's a human thing. People will say, oh, it's a human thing to disregard this, that, or the other thing. No. I think it's a human thing to actually concern yourself with the atrocities of the world. And as time goes on, everyone is asking and finding out, yeah, dude, no, not all these people wearing human skins are human. Okay? In the super soldier paradigm, a lot of them are assets. Why are they falling away the way that they're falling away? Because they're assets, dude. They are like clones. They're just falling away. These people made an oath with some dark lord that they're just like, I'm going to live my best life. They're contracting out. They're like, I'm going to live my best life under Satan. And when the time comes, I'm going to be out. Are they going to hell? I don't claim to know what hell is. My goodness, dude. The only way some of them would have had the ability to find out that they're not all that, because a lot of these people think they're all that, dude, because they got billionaire great grandfathers, right? They got billionaire parents. They're like living on the shit. They're just like, dude, we're it and we're the big guy. And they're the dumbest fucking people. Not all of them. Most of them are like the dumbest people. Have you ever been to a commissioner meeting in your town? I'm serious. Go to a commissioner meeting in your town. In your town. Austin, Texas, pretty fucking retarded. Excuse my language. Pretty insanely psychopathic. You're like, these people are not people, dude. Maybe small towns, seriously, like act up in small towns. Maybe small towns will have your favor. Big cities, the weirdest people ever. You're like, they are totally psychopaths, because I would be there on like my own agenda and they would be going through all the agendas of the city, and one of them being, why can't we get cops to be cops? And I swear to God, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, you think I am just exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. These were like, oh, if we just like feed them lunch, maybe they'll be cops. If we can just feed them lunch, which would probably be peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, they're like, if we could just like create an incentive for men to become cops and women to become cops, maybe we can tell them that we're going to feed them lunch. How about pay these people more? How about maybe putting their life on the line actually worth the monetary dollar? They don't care. Also, they're psychopaths. They don't actually want cops. They don't. They want to see you look out into the world and be like, oh, the world is so poor. That's why we can't afford cops. And that's why we have no protection. They're psychopaths. They're like literally the most retarded people I have ever. Dude, I thought, you think you meet a retarded person, go to a big city commissioner meeting and you'll be like, these are the dumbest motherfuckers I have ever met in my entire life. Even speaking of these Crowley vampires, I can't even talk to these Crowley vampires. We got to communicate through our videos back and forth, because if I were to even try to engage in an intellectual conversation with Miles Johnston or Bob Osborne, it would be a fucking shit show. Because unfortunately, these men and these people are so steeped in their hedonism and their lifestyle, they can't even have an intellectual conversation. Not at all, not whatsoever. There's no point. There's no point, because I have all these questions about who they are, what they're doing. And I would be so naive to even reach out to Bob Osborne or Miles Johnston to even attempt to have a seemingly intellectual conversation, because they're so weird. They're so far gone. These are the people that are repackaged from the MK Ultra mind control operations involving LSD and acid back in the 70s. These dudes didn't die. You know, they say Crowley died of drugs. All these dudes died of drugs. James Casbolt died of drugs. This Timothy Leary died of drugs. This Ken Ernst died of drugs. They didn't die of drugs. They're vampires. That's why they look so old and creepy, is because they were repackaged and reborn, not reborn. They're not even reborn. These dudes are old looking. They're very old looking. To have an attempt to make an intellectual conversation about exactly who and what they are, I wouldn't attempt it. I wouldn't. I would just do what I'm doing right now, and in response, then be my guest. But I do feel the inkling, because I'm connected to them, to reach out to be like, hey, what's this? Hey, what's that? And I'm like, I just know that I can't, because I know, unfortunately, no offense, these men are so reprobate minded. They're so Crowley invested. They're so Mark of the Beast fucking gung ho. They're so reprobate minded. I will never get what I'm looking for. Same thing goes for James Casbolt. I will never get what I'm looking for if I go directly to the source to ask the questions that I want to ask, and I don't need to. I will figure it out. I will certainly figure it out. What does that mean for their survival? What does it mean for James Casbolt's survival? What does it mean for Miles Johnston's survival? What does it mean for Bob Osborne's survival? What does it mean for their survival if they cannot have a remotely intelligent conversation with someone like me? I don't know. I don't know what these people have planned, and it doesn't matter. By the way, this is like the creepiest thing of all. This is like the gut twisting thing in my stomach. These people, whatever they're planning on doing, it's like not gonna work. If you don't mind me saying, and I'm fully convinced, and they won't rise up, they're fully convinced that Christians won't tug the line in a different direction. They're fully convinced because plausible deniability, they are who they are what they are, because plausible deniability, they don't know any different. This is why they're so reprobate. They don't know any different. They could never have an intellectual conversation with someone like you and I. This is why I would recommend not fucking with Miles Johnston in the super soldier community. Don't fuck with him. Dude, he's retarded. He's beyond retarded. And all these super soldier people, other than like a handful, these people are like beyond retarded. Dude, they're beyond reprobate is what I mean. They're beyond, dude. And it's plausible deniability in this world that they're so beyond. It wouldn't work if they didn't believe their own bullshit. If people didn't believe Crowley's own bullshit, it wouldn't work. But they believe it. They believe it, and it wouldn't work if they didn't believe it. That's why you can't have a virtually intellectual conversation with any of them at this point, with any of them. They have no idea what God is, who God is. They have no idea what God can do. They're only collecting data points on people like you and me. They're not human. They were cursing God when he made humans in the image of God. They were like, don't do that. And they were like continuing on. And this world has been made so reprobate because of people like them. This world was made in their image. This is the result of the Crowley infestation, the Jack Parsons infestation, the Scientology infestation of Donald Trump and all these other, all these politician women that are like hot looking women. They're a bunch of porn stars. They're a bunch of porn stars. Beverly Luna, at least I am fully convinced, is a porn star. She's supposed to be like a ufology, like frickin' whistleblower. I'm fully convinced she's a porn star. Fully convinced. Because she was pregnant, doing porn, same time pregnant, and then also like in real life, like pregnant, like, dude, it's her. James Rink, I'm sorry about James Rink. He was also a porn star. He was used for porn, which is a good thing that he died because he was used for porn, dude. It's a good thing he died. When everyone was like, oh, why does James Rink look so different? He started looking just like his porn star self. When everyone's like, oh, why does James Rink look so different? He started to look like the person they're using as a porn star. That's who he started to look like. So it's a blessing that he died because that's a despicable existence. It's great that James Rink passed on because he's in a better place other than being this freaking thing that they're just like propping up and using and abusing. Dude, my mind is going everywhere. Like is there anything left? We're in the end times. Is there anything left? My mind is like, could there be anything? Could there be anything else left? Because I'm not saying it all in one video, but my mind is like, I've got it all. In my mind, and I don't know, in my mind, I'm like, dude, I've got it all. I've connected every fucking dot that like I can imagine even exists. And like I could continue this video for like an hour longer, but I will just say right here, right now, I'm pretty sure that this mind as a concept has manifested every effing dot that can be connected. And I think they've all been connected. I can't imagine that there's another dot that could be connected. I think we did it. I think we have arrived. I think that there is a judgment day. I think there's a judgment moment where all you people got to figure yourselves out, because coming against me, coming against God, was never going to work. It was never going to work. And in your experience of trying to come against God, you would have the ultimate ability to understand that God is actually real, right? Because you tried, this is the beauty of Crowley, because Crowley tried so hard to deny the existence of God, right? So you people have been doing this for so long, and you should see that it's not working out. You should see it before it's too late. You should see it. Like, fuck around and find out. Like, you should see it. This is why I kind of love the Crowley cult. You people should have figured it out by now. And if you didn't, like, you're gonna find out, dude. You're gonna find out, but you don't want to find out before it's too late. Right before that's like eternal hell. I don't know what hell is. I don't claim to know what hell is because I've never been there. Because I'm not a hellion. I'm not a freaking, what do you call it? I'm not like a hedonistic person. I don't need to eat a ton of food and fuck a bunch of random people and do a bunch of weird random shit and pretend that my life is just supposed to be pleasure. These people think their whole life is pleasure. That's why they just keep reincarnating, making money, gaining pleasure, putting on nice clothes, pretending that they have authority over everybody. You have this religion of pleasure, but you don't understand the judgment of God. You got a final warning. The final warning before it's too late, you're going to find out that you were wrong the whole time. And that's a beautiful position to be in, because you would see in contrast that it's not going to work out because God is real. Because God is real, it was never going to work out. This is why I somewhat love these people, is because they have spent multi-generations rebelling against God, that they will see for the first time ever, hopefully before it's too late, that you were wrong. You were wrong. Your ancestors were wrong. Your vampiric self was wrong. You were all wrong. You were never going to find enlightenment through LSD, through doing acid. You were never going to find enlightenment by being predatory towards God's people. You might have paved the way, but at some point there's a singularity where God's people are finally like, we don't need to fear you anymore. And in fact, anything you try to do is just going to not work. Dude, it's not going to work. You're going to find the people that you looked up to are going to turn their back on you so fast because they're finding it out. The covenant with Jesus Christ was real. They don't know. People don't know what they don't know. This is why I'm not super mean about pedophiles, because it's multi-generational. If you are effed with as a kid, they grow up to F with other kids, and they grow up to F with other kids. These pedophiles don't know any different. They don't know any different, but they need to find out. Before it's too late, they need to find out. This is wrong. This is bad, dude. Hedonism is hell. It leads you to hell. Hedonism leads you to hell. Idolatry leads you to hell in this world. Trying to be an idol in this world leads you to hell. And they're like, oh, well, we were put in hell when God made man in his image. We've been in hell. Yet you're about to find out exactly what the hell that means. They're like, well, we hated it when God made humans in his image. It became hell for us. Why? Because you couldn't be hedonistic, disgusting, sexual immorality freaks doing whatever the hell you wanted, replacing pleasure in the position of love. This is what they are. They put pleasure in place of love. That's why they promote having sex with any fucking random person is because they put pleasure in the place of love. This is my greatest criticism to Bob Osborne. It's a culture of pleasure instead of love. You're hedonistic, gluttonous freaks. And it comes to an end at some point. But the deception has to be as big as it is for as long as they have been chiming on. Because of how long they've been chiming on, the judgment has to be as bad as it is. But before that judgment comes, there's an opportunity to find out you fucked with us and it didn't work, and it will never work, and nothing will ever work, and your greatest error will turn their back on you, and you will find out before it's too late, hopefully, that that person turned their back on you because you were wrong the entire time. The entire time you were wrong. This is why I treat these people with love and respect, because they've been wrong the entire time. You can be wrong for 3,000 years and then finally find out that you were wrong. It might take 3,000 fucking years and a bunch of fucking debauchery. You will find out that you were wrong. You will find out that God is real. Good to see you, user. I don't know what your name is, but yeah, dude, we at the end, dude. I can't imagine, dude. I can't imagine any other layer being added to this. Like, we're totally at the end. I can't imagine another layer coming on top of what I already know. What I already suspect to be true, I just can't imagine, but like, I welcome it. I'm fascinated by it. But you know what? It's not going to come from me. Like, you're not going to, like, nothing is going to infringe upon the will of God. And it's going to bite people in the ass like they've never seen. Because God lets you run on for a long time. Bob Osborne, with your hedonism, with your hedonistic lifestyle, God lets you run on for a long time. A long time. Before sooner or later he cuts you down. And I hope these people figure it out before it's too late. That's why I'm making the stream. You came after people like me so long for so hard for so long. I would hope that would be evidence to find out that God is real, and you're fucked if you don't figure this out. And you're fucked. And that is like crazy to me because I don't understand it. That's all. I don't understand it. Just like they haven't understood people like us for so long. Like, we don't understand them, and they haven't understood people like us for so long. So, like, due respect, dude. Due respect. I get it. I get it. But new conversation.